Hi everyone, I'm Monique with Open Gate Quilts, and today I'm going to show you the February 2022 subscription box. So let's get started. As always, when you open it up, you're going to find, if I can open it, there we go. You'll find our logo here, and then as you go in, the first thing you always get is a letter, and it explains what's inside. So that's the first thing. Then the first project, which is the main project, it is called Springtime Gnome, and this is the guy right here. And what's so cute about it is that you can do it in any colors and make it the cutest little guy. I just love him. I think he turned out really cute. With this, you get enough to make the wall hanging, plus the binding, and of course, unless you get your backing, it's not included. And I give you enough of the pink or the red to do your whole hat of your gnome in either pink or red, as well as your center. Your border or your binding is going to have to be pink. That's enough to do your binding, but you can make an all red or an all pink gnome. And I put the colors of the Kona cottons that I used in here, so if you wanted to switch out and do a red binding instead, you could do that, or you could even do the gray binding or the white. It's really up to you. In the kit you do get the pink binding. So that is the Springtime Gnome. That is actually out of this book, which is the cutest little book. It's called Quilting Gnomes for Your Home. And it has the large version, so if you like the wall hanging, you can always make a larger version. This is in Christmas colors, but I wanted to make it more springtime or Valentine's-y, so that's why I switched up the colors. The cool thing about the book is that it does have lots of gnomes in it, but you can always use the projects and do something else in it. So they do have little wall hangings, they have placemats, there's a pot holder in there. It shows you exactly how to make them. So that's really cool. And it's got quilts in here. It's really a cool book. So that's included. And so you're going to need both of those. And as always, I'm putting a pattern in it, or the picture in it of my version, so you can follow it exactly. And there's instructions on how to make it smaller. The second project is actually one of my favorite projects. I absolutely love this. I think it's the cutest little thing. It's a little thread holder. So it's a drawstring thread holder. It can hold up to 3 large spools and 6 small spools. So as you look here, you've got your smaller spools, and there's little pockets that you put those in, and then in the center is the larger spools. And this is perfect if you are going on a quilting day, a class, a retreat. Put your spools of thread in there and they're all together. You don't have them all messed up somewhere else. It was super fun to make. If you decide you don't want to use it for your thread, or you do want to do it through your thread, you can make another one and use it for jewelry, because it's really an all-purpose kind of little container. You can put that in. And your fat quarter, which is, let me look here, it's called Snuggle Up Buttercup Flowers and Snow. And what I really liked about this fat quarter, first of all, it coordinates really well with all your other projects, and it's got flowers and snowflakes. So it's kind of a transition between winter and spring, and it's just a really pretty palette, and it coordinates. So if you wanted to make another one of these drawstring bags, you can use this, or you can combine them, whatever you want to do. So that is included. And I also put the grosgrain ribbon in there, as well as a safety pin. And the reason I put the safety pin is that you have to go through and draw, and you have a little channel that you put your ribbon in, and it's just so nice to have a safety pin to be able to draw that through. Now you either get the green or the gray, and again both coordinate with the projects, so either one will come in your kit. Of course, then I have your thread, the gray thread that matches your project, and so that's the Aurifil thread in this month. The notion of the month is a thread stem, and this is really cool if you're going on retreat again or classes. So my theme this month is thread and going on a little retreat kind of thing, and you could do this project in a weekend if you do retreats or at home. What's nice about this thread stem is what it does is it goes on your machine and your thread threads through it and it will keep it from bunching up when you're using a larger spool. So if you have a larger spool or a smaller spool when you're machine quilting. So this goes on your thread stand or your thread stand on your machine, and the thread comes up. And there's pictures of it here so you can really see what it looks like. But this is a really nice thing, handy thing to have to, again, throw in your bag when you're going on retreat, so you have that ready with you. So that's the notion of the month. And of course, because it's Valentine's Day, you get a little treat, so you get some conversation hearts. Mark and I were just doing our conversation hearts and before we did this, super cute, and then a little Valentine's Day card as a thank you for all you guys getting the subscription box. A couple things, just a reminder that if you haven't switched over to automatic billing, you need to do that as soon as you can. If you have any questions on it, I'm here to help. You can email me at info@opengatequilts.com. It's very simple. Go on to the website, sign up, you get a whole account that you can change your information, put your credit card in, it's all secure, everything is good. It'll just make things easier for both of us. So if we could do that, that would be great. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about is the quilting. One of the questions that I had from people is, can you show me what the quilting is? So each time I do a project, I'm going to show you the quilting. So let's look at this a little more closely. With the quilting, what I did was I outlined just my beard. I didn't do a lot of outlining on my other pieces, and the reason I did it on the beard is that I really wanted it to pop out. And then I just did a little swirl in here to kind of mimic a beard. And then in the hat, I just did wavy lines in here. And then in all the four corners of the snowflake, it's called a snowflake. I kind of think it looks like a flower now that I put a red center in it. I just did different things. And one of the things that I put on my instructions is practice. This is a great thing to practice with. They're small enough that you can do it on your own machine. You can hand do it if you like, hand quilt it if you like, but this is a great way to practice doing some quilting, is on a smaller quilt like this. And all the projects that are a little smaller, you could practice your machine quilting. By the time you get a couple more done, you'll be in good shape, and it's a great way to practice. So in the background, last thing I did was I was going to do a grid, and then I decided to do something a little different. I did what it's called hanging diamonds. And so I did a diagonal line across, and when I did my diagonal line, I used painter's tape. And I measured to make sure it's a 45-degree angle, put the painter's tape on, quilted that line, and then I used my guide on my machine to do the next line. So the painter's tape you only use once, and then if you're going the other way, you would do the exact same thing. So I did my diagonal lines, and then I decided I was just going to do the hanging diamonds. And so I just did straight lines going down. But one thing I did do is I stopped and started each time I came to the gnome. And the reason is, if I would have put my quilting right on top of it, he would have receded. But you want him to pop out because he's the main part of this quilt. So you want him to pop out. So that's why I did those lines and stopped. It takes a little longer, but you'll be happy with the results. You can do more quilting on it if you wanted to add some more lines on it, more diagonals. You can come back down this way. You don't have to do a grid in the background. You could do a loop, or a, if you wanted it to be more Valentine's, you could do hearts. You could do a lot of things in the background. Again, this is a great project to practice with because it's smaller, more manageable under your machine. So remember though, you need to baste it, pin baste it, then quilt it, or how you baste it. So that's the tips on the quilting, and this is the quilting that I did for this one. So that's our box this month. I love my little gnome, and I absolutely adore this little thread carrier. I am going to make several of these as gifts as well as for myself. So that's the projects for this month. Hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you again next month. Quilt, bind, and enjoy. Bye.